action.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Tuesday's Tips with Laurie. So excited that you've joined us today. We're going to be working on something super fun today. Before that begins, I just want to make a fun little announcement. Next week for Tuesday's Tips, we are going to be filming at our academy where the shop owners come. And so hopefully you'll get to see and maybe spot your shop owner, and we're going to share some new products. Yes, new products, super fun. So with that, just don't forget about that next Tuesday, and it will be at 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So tune in for that. All right, to get started today, we've got, doesn't this look fun? This is a sewing version of our table runners. And this was really fun, I thought, to make. I haven't finished stitching it all the way because I wanted to show you some of the stitching, but lots of fun. This is just so many fun colors. I loved adding the glitter. I don't know if you could see the 31 right here. And I loved this particular part of it, as well as the glitter on the pumpkin and the cute little kitty here. And this is taken from the Kimberbell bench pillow, Halloween Boo. So fun. So today, one of the reasons I like October 31st, one of my best friend's birthday is October 31st. So shout out to that one, right?
Oh, awesome.
Cool. All right, so to start out with, the first thing that you're going to want to do when you're making your bench pillow with the sewing version, you're going to want to take your background and cut it out, and cut and make your borders so that you've got your palette, so to speak. That's what I felt like. I felt like I was creating a masterpiece. It was so much fun. Love this. So after I've done that, the next thing I do is I want to trace all of the pattern pieces. So in the pattern, it comes with these patterns, and they're already reversed for us. I'll show you. They're already reversed. So all I have to, you can see how the 31 is backwards and October is backwards. So all I have to do is take this paper that's like a heat and bond or a transfer paper, place it directly on it, and if you have a light box, great. Go ahead and use your light box, and I just trace it with the pencil on the paper side. You can see the fusible sides on the other side, and I just trace it just like that. Now, one of the things that I wanted to add was the glitter. So in order to do glitter, I'll show you the difference between tracing it for glitter and tracing it on fabric. So the first thing I've done is I've finished tracing my cat. And it is backwards to, you can see on the quilt, it's flipped, it's the other way. So that's just fine. This is reversed, and that's what we want. So if I were doing it on fabric, I would place it on the back of the fabric and I would iron it on, and then I would cut this out, and I would end up with my cat all cut out with the paper on the back. And of course then you would just peel that paper off, and it leaves the adhesive. You can see this shiny adhesive right here on the back of the fabric, and that's what I use to iron it onto my fabric. Well, if I'm going to do the same thing with glitter, you're going to get your piece of glitter, and I leave the plastic on the front. And if it's already in reverse, I'm going to put it on the back. If it's not in reverse, you can put it on the front, but I just put it on the back. But don't iron it. Do not want to iron that. You will end up getting sticky residue all over your iron if you do that, because the back of the glitter the applique glitter sheet, this part has got the sticky fusible material, and so that is the material you do not want to have on your iron. Now on the front there, you can see there's that clear plastic shield. Well, that's just fine. The only reason I'm putting it on the back is I tape it, and the reason I have that hole cut out, that was the last place I was going to cut. So that's just a tip, because once you cut around it, you can see it doesn't stick to it because we didn't fuse it together for a reason. So I just taped it right across there, and I cut out my whole cat, and the only thing left is this little piece, and as you can see, that's when I'll lose the tape and it'll all be cut out. And I have one. I'm going to finish cutting this out. I have my little scissors right here so I can show you. I just cut right on the line. And there you go. So then when I actually finish, this is not stuck to this, but it is cut out in the correct shape, and you can see it matches the way it should. So there again, if your pattern's in reverse, then just go ahead and trace it like you normally would. Tape it to the back of the glitter, applique glitter sheet, and then you cut it out. And the trick was I taped it somewhere where I was gonna cut very last, so it stayed stuck to that back of that piece. Now that I'm done, now is when you take off that plastic. You wanna make sure that plastic comes off, because if it doesn't, it might break your needle. So you want that clear plastic to come off. And it's right here. And it's got a stickiness to it. That's what keeps it on the glitter, the applique glitter sheet. And then when you go to iron it on, you just iron it right on your fabric. And look how fun. I love this glitter. It's just so much fun. So that's how you would go about doing that. So I just use a regular piece of Scotch tape. So I would have just gone just like that. So it's holding it right there, and I cut everything out, and that was my last place that I cut. So that just keeps it held in place. All right, so after you've got your applique pieces all cut out, the next thing I like to do is place them. Well, if you just start on one end and you start placing your pieces, and then pretty soon you're like, ooh, either I've overestimated room or I haven't given myself enough room. So what I like to do is basically you can either fold it in half, find the center, open it back up, and say that's where I'm going to go from. That's my center point, and I start in the center placing. So I placed my O's first, and I put the O's where I wanted them, and then I adjusted the B and the exclamation point. And I would do that with just about any project. I would start in the center and work your way out on both sides so that you know where you've started. Now the reason I knew the O's were in the center is there's 7 pieces of fabric along the top, and the green is number 7. It's a halfway mark, and I looked on the pattern, and that's the halfway mark of the fabric is right above the O's. So that's how I knew I was placing them in the right location. The other trick would be do this at your ironing board. Don't place everything and then try to carry this to your ironing board. It's way too big of a piece of project that you would have to start over. It would not be fun. You'd have to start over again. And once I got that all taken care of, I ironed on just my boo, and of course I added the kitty cat later with just a piece of fabric over the top of the applique glitter so that it wouldn't mess up with my iron. And so that's kind of how I got this all started, and it really went together pretty quick.
And it looks so good.
It was so much fun to do. So I'm going to show you then, if you were to go and stitch this, you can notice I've already got a button, a couple things stitched on or stuck on. They're not stitched on, they're just stuck on, and I'll show you that trick in a minute. But what I want to show you is come over to the machine, and I'm going to show you how I would go about stitching. If I can move my chair. So I put my thread in, and I'm going to thread my needle really quick. And I've selected a blanket stitch, and I'm going to go around my pumpkin with my blanket stitch. So what I like to do is I can see that it's in the left-hand position, so I'm going to put my presser foot down. Let's see. I'm going to put it down right there. Okay. I've got mine lined up so I know the one stitch is in the middle and the other stitch is on the other side. And I only know that because I practiced just a minute ago on a piece of fabric. And so that's one of the best things is you've got to start that way. Then what I like to do is I count. This is a 3-count blanket stitch. There are 5-count blanket stitches. And what I mean by that is, if you'll bear with me, I'm going to start right here. So it's at the edge, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and then I stop and I rotate it if I need to. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And if you do a very controlled blanket stitch, it makes it easier when you want to stop and turn. So now I've got a straight area. I'm just gonna go straight for a little while, but I keep the rhythm of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and I want to stop on that one so that I can rotate it a little bit. So if you count 1, 2, 3, stop, rotate. That allows you to accommodate these curves and make it look nice and even without it looking choppy as you go around. So then it comes and it follows the flow of the round edges of your pumpkin, especially when you get to some things like the stems. Those are really small pieces. So if you have, say yours is a 5-step blanket stitch because it goes forward, over, back. So you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and stop and move it if you needed to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and stop, and you can move in between those counts. It makes it easier. Otherwise, if you forget where you're at and you go forward and then you turn it and then it goes backwards, you're like, no, then you've got this dark stitch in your white background fabric and you're not really happy with that, right? So that's the one thing that I always do. I always sit and count in my mind however long that stitch is. So 5 if it's a forward backward type blanket stitch, 2 if it's a zigzag, 3 if it's, you know, whatever your stitch is, but practice on a piece of fabric first. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and I'm going to show you one of the last tricks that I love, that I use all the time whenever I'm attaching anything. So if, for example, and I pulled these off so that I could re-show them to you. If, for example, this is a, let's say it's rickrack, and you wanted this rickrack attached before you took it to the quilter, and you were going to sew it down so that it's not in their way, but you wanted it there so because you wanted the, you know, the quilting to actually embellish instead of just pretending like it's not there. You wanted it to be enhanced. So this is what I do, and I love the basting spray. It's just a temporary basting spray. It won't gum up your needle, and that's what I love about it. Make sure that if you do one that it doesn't gum up your needle. So I stuck this on, but I'm going to show you, and it's temporary. You can pull it off and move it around if you want, but it holds it all long enough that you can stitch it. So if you're wanting to stitch a button, you can see that I can knock it off if I wanted to, or I can add some more and I can stick it back down, and it stays in place long enough for me to move this fabric around to stitch it without it falling off every time I'm trying to grab. Version that I find helpful. There's also a good question. A lot of people have been asking about quilting. Where do we quilt, or how do we quilt it? It's so much fun. On the actual pattern, it does have some quilted ideas. You can see some of the ideas that they've done on their quilting. That's a lot of fun. You can take that and use that if you'd like, but you don't have to get it quilted that way. But the quilting is something that you want to do before you put it in the pillow. So what I would do is I would take this finished sewing on the top, I would take and make a back for it as if it were a table runner. If you're going to do something like that and you're putting it inside of a pillow, use muslin. Just get yourself some muslin because you won't see it once it's placed in the pillow. But if you're wanting to make it as a table runner or a wall hanging, I would suggest making, you know, a fun back that you would like, and then you take it in and you get it quilted. So, and that goes for the embroidery version as well. There's no quilting patterns included in the embroidery version, so that you could be creative and do whatever you'd like with that. Lots of fun. So give me your ideas.
They need to take it to a quilter then?
Yes, you'll want to take it to a quilter. And I would have it quilted before I put this big of a piece into a pillow, because you don't want it, it would just look better and it would stay better as a pillow if it were quilted, even a table runner, or do the quilting yourself. Those adventurous spirits, I love that. Do the quilting yourself if you'd like. So if you do decide to do it as a table runner, you'll want to just, you know, find a cute bat, take it in, get it quilted, and bind it just like you would a regular table runner or wall hanging. It's just so cute. It's lots and lots of fun. So if there's any other questions?
I'm looking, there was one about it that we do have a Thanksgiving pattern.
We do.
Someone asked about that, and then just wondered if this one was for sale. Yes.
Oh, yes it is.
Yes it is.
Isn't this so much fun? And the glitter, I think, just makes it even more festive.
Yeah.
Lots, really, really festive. All right. And I'll show you this temporary spray. You can see that it doesn't leave any, once you pull it off, it's kind of like dust that flies away. It's just, and you can see it's not on my product either.
Wow,
So,
you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, isn't that fun? All right, well, if you guys are ready for next week, don't forget to tune in. We're gonna show you some fun new products from our academy, and it'll be lots of fun. Remember, 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.